Alright, so that was pretty good. I was kind of hoping the ending was going to be a little bit better. But, just to give my, my thoughts on the game, it's been,
Let's see what you've got, 6-4.
This game has been exactly what I thought it was going to be honest. It was decent. It's, the only con I can have about the game is, like, I have just a couple things. I wish the controls and the menu system were a little bit more polished. And besides that, I wish the game was about 8 to 12 hours longer, and give me free roam on Mars, It don't have to be much, but let me go from place to place, Picking places on a map, it's kind of old school, but then I can't even say that because old school games from back in the day had free roam. You had the whole world you can explore, to get different areas and stuff. So I wish they'd have took it like that, but I can understand why they didn't. This would be a very weird game for somebody to get into if, let's say, you've never played a game by spiders before. I was lucky enough to, I didn't realize it until after I, started playing it for the first time, but I've already played Bound by Flame because I played that when that came out. So I was kind of used to the mechanics. Once I realized they made the same game, I was like, oh, okay, this feels just like it. The door opening animations, the way you do certain things, how the game has its world set up. I figured it was going to be the same thing, just like in that. You didn't have a lot of world, free roam map exploring in that either. Even the combat is the same, but with like a little bit things tacked on. So it's not saying it's a bad thing, but I just wish it was a little bit longer, only to stretch out the story. To me, the story kind of fell when you left. It's like, okay, you were doing all this stuff, then you got exiled from the city. And then you went to Noctis and like the story just dropped. It's like, and maybe that's why you spent like a good 4 to 5 hours in Noctis doing miscellaneous bullshit for Denonu. I figured he was going to come back at the end of the game, try to screw you over or something, right? But no, that never happens. It's like the story just loses all focus after you leave. Like they was like, we have this good premise. You're going to be a Technomancer. You have this secret that you have to hide from everybody else. And it was like, it's like you only had like the good Ophir portion of the game in the beginning. It's like the story that's as far as they went. And then it dropped. Like, you didn't care about Earth. That wasn't a real big thing. They mentioned it in the beginning of the game, but they didn't pump it up to be like, oh, this is everybody's religion, and all of that shit. They didn't explain it like that. So suddenly to jump at the end of the game, we got to make contact with Earth. It's like, doesn't make sense. That shouldn't have been the end game. I mean, if you're going to have Victor be your bad guy, like I said a couple videos ago, show him being the bad guy. Show him trying to take over Mars using abundance as his machine to do it. Show him going after and killing Technomancers because they're the only ones who can stand up to him as a threat. You know what I'm saying, YouTube? It's like they could have done things better. And that's where I feel that they kind of faltered, is the story. It's like you have decent gameplay. Granted, it could be more polished. Even the questing was done pretty decent for like a B-rate kind of game. Can't be mad at that. But it's just the story didn't hold up. It wasn't. I'm not saying it has to be the biggest and greatest and best story out there. I'm not expecting Mass Effect. Even though Mass Effect didn't have a great story, but it was far better than this. It's almost like they didn't have a well enough writer, or either they had to make the stories, or they kind of made the game and then made up a story for the game. A lot of games tend to do that nowadays, and when you do that, it's kind of like it's not well thought out if you do it that way. Like, if you have a good premise and a good, well-written story and then making a game around the story, that's the right way to do it. But maybe they didn't think of it that way due to inexperience, or maybe they didn't have enough money to do it. Maybe they didn't have enough time to do it. Could be a whole bunch of reasons that I'm sure nobody will ever know but them. But it's just, I have to mention that as a negative. It's like, and to me, I'm a big story person. So for me, if I wasn't, let's say, the way I am, a lot of people would, I'm guessing, play this game and put it down. because after a while it gets boring. Like after you leave Ophir, my interest in the story of the game kind of dropped. I started, you know, getting more interested into, let's say, the characters, but even they weren't, you know, like if they were like kind of like how characters were in Mass Effect, where you talk to them off and on and all that kind of sort of stuff. Got to know them a little bit, had certain areas where you could do certain things with them, things like that. Then it would have been better. From what I understand in this, you could do it a little bit, and you may be able to romance people. I'm not exactly sure. I think you can, given because I've seen certain dialogue options that kind of led towards that. So I'm assuming that's where that takes you. But I just wish it was a little bit better, YouTube. You know, but I mean, that's what I expected. I mean, I expected this game to have at least some kind of problems to it. But anyways, I mean, it still was pretty good. I'm glad I did the LP. I'm pretty sure a lot of people may have played this game and put it down just like they did Bound by Flame. But this game was pretty good. I will say that. I'm kind of happy I played it. So, but anyways, I hope you guys been enjoying the Let's Play so far. Please look out for more Let's Plays from me. My name has been Denonu, the man with the biggest and the most blackest privilege on YouTube. And I will see you guys in the next LP. Peace out.